Hi everyone, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com, and today I want to show you some things that you can make from fabric scraps. Today's video is a collab with Catherine of Dainty Diaries. If you don't follow her here on YouTube, you're missing out. Make sure to go subscribe to her channel and watch her video after you watch mine. She's also going to share some things you can make with fabric scraps, and her style is just darling. It's so beautiful. She has a shabby chic sort of style, and she is the sweetest, funniest human, so make sure to go check her out. I'm going to be showing lots of DIYs and decor ideas over the next little while using things that I know a lot of you have on hand, like a whole bunch of little pieces of fabric. I always have these on hand. I know a lot of you will, so I want to show you some things that you can make. Let's get started. First, let me show you how to make fabric twine out of leftover fabric. This has so many uses. So what you do is cut some leftover fabric into 1-inch strips. What I do is cut a slit with my scissors at about 1 inch, and then I rip the rest. I'm just using 100% cotton fabric. It's all pre-washed from my baby DIY making days. Then you take 2 strips of fabric and you tie them into an overhead knot, just like I'm doing here. And then what you're going to do is twist each strip individually and then twist the 2 strips together. So I'm using my index finger to twist the strip around it just like this, and then I pull the strip behind the other one to create the larger twist. So twist an individual strip, pull it behind the other strip, and continue in this way. My daughters also made these, and she just liked twisting with her thumb and her index finger, but I liked twisting around with my index finger like I'm doing here. There's lots of different methods to do this as long as you twist each individual strand and then twist them together. This is one of those things that you can do when you're watching Netflix, when you're watching a movie. It's quite relaxing. I find it very therapeutic. When you run out of fabric on one of the strips, you just take another strip of fabric and you roll it into a roll just like I'm doing here. Put it inside the first piece and then roll that over the new piece. And then you can just twist it so that it stays firmly in place. Make sure you hold on to that join, and then you continue twisting the individual strands and then twisting them together to create your fabric twine. So what you want to do here is you want to take different colors of fabric and just layer them and keep them all different to create a really boho happy kind of looking twine like I have here. You could also stick with just 2 different colors of fabrics to create a different look. It's completely up to you. So you can make all sorts of things like coasters, you can make rugs. I will link to some ideas down in the description box below. What I decided to do with this fabric twine is make a cute little planter. I took this planter that I found at Dollar Tree a couple months ago. It's just a plain white ceramic planter. However, you could use all sorts of different things. You could even use plastic containers that you've upcycled. And then I'm taking a glue gun, putting a strip of hot glue onto the planter, and then tacking down the DIY fabric scrap twine. And you can just go ahead and coil the twine around the planter, just using strips of glue to adhere it. Make sure that the layers are next to each other so you don't see any of the planter or the container in between the rows of your fabric twine. When you near the end, you can just take that final knot and tuck it underneath the previous rows, just like this. This is such a simple DIY, and I loved making this fabric twine. So therapeutic, so boho chic, would look very cute in a kid's room or as a happy accessory this spring. Here I have it styled in my work studio. The next DIY I want to show you is a really cute fabric scrap banner. I'm using some more fabric scraps. They're the 1-inch strips that I cut out. I also have these wooden beads from Dollar Tree, as well as this embroidery floss from Dollarama. First things first is you cut a piece of the embroidery floss the length that you want your banner to be, and then take one of the wooden beads and tie it onto the embroidery floss. Next, take a piece of your strip of fabric, and I'm cutting mine probably about 6 to 7 inches long. You can cut yours however long you want your banner to be, and then cut a bunch of strips the same length. So again, mine are about 6 to 7 inches, and that's going to make the height of my banner approximately 3 to 4 inches. For mine, I'm using 2 different colors of fabric scraps. However, you could use all different colors of fabrics, create a rainbow. You could use just 1, you could use 3. Again, totally up to your imagination and creativity. So to attach these fabric strips onto this banner, you fold the fabric strip in half and then you place it underneath the embroidery floss and pull the ends of the fabric scraps through the loop that you've created. This is called a lark's head knot, and you might remember this from my macrame videos. It's a very common macrame knot. So fold the strip in half and then put it underneath the embroidery floss that you have for your banner, and then pull the ends of the fabric scrap through the loop that you created. In between each fabric scrap pennant, you're going to put one of the dollar store wooden beads. I've made a lot of fabric scrap banners in the past. I will link to some of the ones I've made in the description box below. So this was actually a blast from the past. I used to make these all the time for my girls' rooms, for parties. I think they're so happy and sweet. And what was different about this one was the wooden bead edition. And I thought this was such a fun addition. Made this banner look very boho chic. So again, you could use these for kids' rooms, parties. You could also use this just as a little accent for your bookcase, for your craft room. There's a lot of possibilities for this one. Once you're all done, you can tie the final wooden bead onto the banner. So here I'm showing you how I styled it in my little daughter's room, little A. I put it on her headboard, and I think this is a very sweet look, a great kids' room accessory. But then I thought it'd be fun to use it for Easter. So I had this Easter basket from Walmart last year, took off the bow that came with it, and then decided to tack on this DIY fabric scrap banner with my glue gun and hot glue. So I just put a little blob of hot glue underneath each of the individual wooden beads and then tacked that onto the top edge of my Easter basket. This was a great way to upcycle an Easter basket that I had from last year. We're probably not going to go shopping for new Easter things this year, so this adds just a fun touch to this one that I already had. And I love how the blue and yellow plays with the pink of this basket. At the end, you can just tie the two ends of the embroidery floss together just like this. And this is how the Easter basket turned out. So cute. I'm very happy with it. We're going to keep our basket simple this year with just some candy eggs, maybe a book, and a little Easter toy. The final DIY I want to show you today is how to make some dish towels. Again, I am cutting 1-inch strips from my fabric. Again, I'm just doing that slit method and then ripping the strips. Now, these are some flour sack dish towels I found on Amazon last year, and they came in a really large pack, so I have a lot of these and wanted just to add some embellishment. I'm using Fabri-Tac fabric glue. You could sew these as well, but I wanted to make this DIY accessible for anyone, even if you don't want to sew. So what you do here is put a little strip of the fabric glue onto the bottom of the dish towel. I'm using the bottom hem as a guide. I'm lining up the bottom of my fabric strap with the top of the hem. And then place the fabric strip on top of the glue. And then every inch or so you can kind of create a little pleat like I'm doing here, and then tack the pleat down with a little dab of fabric glue. What I did is I put a hard ruler on top of the fabric strip so I could use it as a guide to see where I wanted my little pleats to go, and that was very helpful. This is a very casual, shabby chic boho sort of look. You don't have to worry about the straightness of this strip. It's kind of supposed to be very casual and relaxed looking. When you run out of fabric, you can add a new strip on just like this by tacking down the end of the first piece, folding a second piece, and then beginning your pleats at that point. I've used this fabric glue before. It washes very well, and so I'm not worried about using it on these dish towels. At the very end of the fabric row, you can tack it down with some more fabric glue. And here's how these boho chic dish towels turned out. They're so bright and cheerful, and I think they look so sweet in a spring kitchen.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below which of these projects was your favorite and what you thought of these scrap fabric ideas.
Make sure to go check out Catherine of Dainty Diaries video. I will link it up here and down in that description box below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas on a budget. And I'm gonna leave some more videos that I hope you guys will love right up here.